So one of the most, I'm going to say, impactful and upcoming brewers for some time has been Behemoth. So we're talking now of Andrew Childs of Behemoth, aka the Beer Draft, and we're doing this because you're our brew buddy at Northcote, mate, which we're super excited about.
We are. It's great.
Hey, how you doing? You're still there, so
I'm here. I'm around. Yeah, I started my weekend off well with a good couple of pints at Beer Spot Morningside, around the corner from us here.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Go sink a couple of lagers and a couple of IPAs.
So that's the biggest question I have for you today, I think, Andrew, is that you started off. I remember Lawrence and I were conniving, scheming this Beer Spot concept, and around 2014 we started doing that, and we'd often go to Hallertau there in the northwest of Auckland, and you'd be there pushing a contract brew through with those guys, and you were saying, you know, that I want my own brewery. I want to do this, and you know, I want to do it good.
It's taking a bit of time,
man, but it does, right? But you're doing it, dude. You've got the funding.
It's getting there, man. It's getting there.
And you've gone against probably the general consensus, which is, it'll never happen.
That is very much, I feel it's probably was a consensus among most people for, you know, but hey, and you just gotta, you know, you got to make sure that you back yourself and believe in yourself and get to where you want to be.
That's it, mate. And you know, the cold
had some very long liquid lunches back then at Hallertau, that's for sure.
That's it, mate. That's where all the good ideas come from, right? So you know,
it's looking fantastic, by the way, may I say.
Oh, thank you very much, mate. Hey, so the build's underway. You raised the capital, and now you're going to face this question all day long, bro. When are you opening?
Oh yeah. So what we're planning at the moment is the hospitality side. So Shirley's, the bar, restaurant, butchery, is going to be hopefully open mid-July. We were hoping for end of June because that's when my birthday is, but I don't think we're quite going to hit that. We've got a few things that need to be manufactured. We've still got to sign off what our tap system's looking like. I think we will in the next couple of days, and that will be an independent stainless steel fabricator to get that all set up. And then hopefully the brewery will be landing here pretty soon after that, like in the first part of the brewery will be landing probably before we open, so in about 4 weeks. And then the last parts of it should be landing here in about 6 to 7 weeks. So Andrew, yeah, so hopefully we're brewing sometime late July, but we'll be open early mid-July and for the bar.
Now, I don't think you could have done this any harder.
Probably not. I'm struggling to see how we could have done it harder.
Well, but you know, that's a testament to perseverance and application. And you know, I'm always of the thought that you can have the best ideas in the world, but it's all about execution, right? You've got to execute. Otherwise, a bunch of ideas are nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a 90s man, and you know, I work hard with getting things done. But if I didn't have my team around me has been awesome. My wife is the organized one of the group, Hannah, and she's our operations manager, and she's going to be the operations manager of Shirley's. She's got a hospitality chef butcher background, and then we've got we've got a commercial director, Roger, who's kind of like more of the business brains behind things to making sure that all my crazy ideas don't make us go bankrupt. And then we've got Megan, who's just joined us in accounts, who's behind me at the moment, and we've got our new head brewer Paddy, who is ex-Hallertau sweatshop, who's just come on board, and he's driving the forklift and getting things in and out at the moment for brewery because he's taken on the logistics role. And so there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of good people to make Behemoth what it is. And you know, we like to say that we're just getting started. Like, we're 7 years old next month, but you know, next month is potentially, and the month after is going to be, you know, the rebirth and us being able to do things a bit differently, and maybe one day not doing things the hard way. So,
mate, we all know that an overnight success normally takes about 10 years. So you know, we're both in the middle of it, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Hey, you know, I just want to touch on this briefly because it is a big part of the story. And you know, you and Jace Bathgate were involved in a bit of a boil over once, and which in a super unfortunate set of circumstances. I just want you to let everyone know that you're okay. I hope you are, and that you've come.
Yeah, we're both doing good, man. Like McLeod's is my favorite brewing company that I don't own, and it is really cool. I just got back from we spent the weekend up with them in Waipu over the weekend. So Hannah surprised me and took me out of the city for the night. And we crashed with them and hung out at the pizza barn for ages, and it was really good to get out.
Mate.
It's amazing, and it's kind of my happy place, and really just like to get out of Auckland. You know, we worked all the way through shutdown. Like me and Hannah were working 6.5 days a week, packing like 6 packs ourselves because we weren't allowed to have staff on site and all that kind of thing. And now we're opening this big, massive thing. So, you know, we got away for 24 hours, and it was much needed and awesome. So, but yeah, we're both doing great, man. We've both got through it, man. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies, and I don't like my worst enemies. But it's a horrible thing to happen, and I don't wish it on anyone. And yeah, we're planning a yearly collaboration brew to kind of like raise awareness about brewery safety, and like, you know, like we're both making really good beer and really big flavorful beer, and we just wanted to get together and do something educational and fun, and just
can I suggest
hang out and brew some beer.
Feel the burn for the name of the beer?
No, man, I'll leave that to Jason's boy Sanders. You know, he's Vermont born and bred, so might leave the burn jokes out of this one. I don't know. We'll think about it come September, I think.
Andrew, so you're a or we're a contract brewer, probably still are to a little extent.
And we still will be brewing stuff in contract, like until. You know, for a while yet, while we're going to bring more of the seasonal fun stuff in, and then we're going to kind of, as we go along, bring a bit more in house and find our feet.
You understand that you're doubling a business, right? Because hospitality isn't brewing.
Oh, shit, no.
And so this is like, but basically you're starting a whole nother enterprise.
Yeah.
In fact, you're starting two. Your stainless steel, your hospitality side. Man, are you not? Have you lost the plot?
A long time ago. We've been planning this. We spent a year and a half looking for the site. We looked at 32 sites around kind of central-ish Auckland suburbs, Mount Eden.
Tell me about that.
Grayland. We love our site. It's awesome. We've got the best. We're stoked with it. But we looked at a lot of bangers and dungers over the years. We pretty much got married. Hannah was just like, we're not allowed to start looking for a venue until after the wedding, that kind of stuff. So I think we got back from Vietnam, and 2 days later, we looked at our first site, which was an old Scientology site on Dominion Road. Thank Christ we didn't get that one. It was really horrible.
Did you see any Tom Cruise DNA dripping off anything? Or?
No, but there was a basement, and they had like the sauna, like standalone sauna in the middle of a basement. It was, and all these weird rooms. It was very strange, and that's probably about as much as I'm going to say about that, because I could get sued otherwise. So
thank you. I'm feeling uncomfortable about that too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you've always been one who garners media attention quite well, and you do. And one of the ways you've done that is whether you mean to or not is with a bit of anti-Trump sentiment, which has just done wonders. And
yeah,
I'm just saying, I don't really feel either way about the guy, but I'll tell you what. It is the most fascinating train wreck I've ever seen in global politics. Just incredible.
I feel bad for the comedy writers who, you know, they can't make this stuff up. You know, all the work's done for them. You know, it's like they'll be cutting back writers left, right, and centre for like late night talk shows and stuff in the States. No, I mean, it wasn't political when this started with. It was started off like, are you serious? This guy? This is a joke, and never thought it would happen. Like most people didn't think it was going to happen, and then we just kind of run with it. We stopped. Kind of the very short timeline is that we did some keg only batches of it. We launched it at Vulture's Lane, one of my favorite bars, and there were lines out the door, and a little bit of media attention. And then we packaged it in bottles, and all that stuff happened. And then we stopped making it when he was elected, because it's like, it's not funny anymore. It's not a joke. This is ridiculous. And we started doing impeachment sour ale. Did that until he got impeached, which technically he has been. Made it for 3 years. And we did, but after a year and a half, it's like, this guy's still here. We're brewing Dump the Trump again. Screw it. And that's when fan, and like hundreds and hundreds of right-wing Trump tards gave us 1-star reviews on Facebook, and then 10 times more Kiwis gave us 5 stars. We got heaps and heaps of media and stuff out of it. I was on breakfast TV and all sorts of other stuff. It was kind of crazy. I still get the odd hate mail, and it's really funny. I enjoy replying to those, so I don't hold back. It's quite fun, and we've even got another one coming out now. So, but we stopped making after that. We stopped making because it got too much. I was like, I don't want to be done with the Trump brewery. Now we've brought it back. We're going to keep bringing it back. We've got a spate of new Trump mocking beers to come out. I was like, how many can we get out before November? We will see.
Oh, that's great, man. You've always got to push the barrow, mate, and you know, you haven't lived until you've received a death threat or two, you know. It's something else.
Oh, it's always fun. I enjoy sharing it around with the staff and a few friends. It's like, oh, yes, this is fun.
Just a little aside, I used to work in talkback radio way back in the olden days, started in the late 80s, and it ended up sort of going through the early 2000s and stuff. But, you know, you'd get sent a 22 cartridge, you know, with a really poorly written note and stuff, you know. So it was always like, yes, you know, you're getting that kind of reaction from someone. So, you know, there's got to be a more moderate version that's a good job.
On my response to that was like, you're going to have to throw the shell much faster at me to do any damage, you know.
That's nice, mate. Let's talk about the range of beers for a bit. Halfway down, which is a really nice nod to Dominion Road, which is where your new site is. And of course, the good old Mutton Birds.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a beautiful lager. It's 4.8%, I think, which is super easy going.
4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. And it looks just beautiful in the glass, mate. It's got all, you know, ticks all the boxes for a lager. And
for our very first proper lager, I'm pretty stoked.
And a lot of folks don't realize that lagers and pilsners are really difficult to brew.
They are. Yeah, there's nowhere to hide in them. You know, if you've got any faults out there, you're going to taste them. So bring a nice clean lager. I mean, it's still got a little bit of flavor there. It's got a little bit of hop character, but it, like, as you would expect, it's a rice lager. We're on Dominion Road, an Asian lager kind of makes sense. And I love that beer so much, but you know, I'm also a businessman, so I can't just open a 50-litre keg for myself. So I've, you know, come to the beer spot a couple of times and got some bottles off you guys and had a few pints just because I was like, I want to drink my lager and I want to open a whole keg for myself.
That's great, mate. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. And, you know, one of the things I really love about this industry is you know, it's still very collaborative. And, you know, yeah, some of our brewers have been around for 20 plus years. But for people who are investigating new beer, and we make no apologies for being here for the mainstream drinker, we're trying to transition people. You know, those gateway beers, those lagers, those pilsners are super important to our audience, if you like. And it's great to see more of those sort of coming through.
Yeah, I mean, no bones about it. We did it because we're opening a pub and we know that we need to have a lager for the mainstream drinkers who don't used to like it. But to be honest, like I drink a bit of beer, you might be able to say, and I like to smash a lager or two at the beginning of a drinking session. After that, I'm just like, all right, I feel like stepping up to some pale ales and IPAs, and depending on the night, imperial stouts or crazy wild ferment sour things. I don't hate any styles of beer. I like a well-brewed style of any beer. I really enjoy. And I plan to do a few more lagers, and it's definitely not what we've built our reputation on. We're definitely hoppy guys and crazy flavored things and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But you know, I want to have that spectrum, and as long as the beer is well made, then I'll be happy to be making it.
Well, you've got a hell of a spectrum, mate. And let's just talk a little bit about those fruit forward beers. You know, what's the inspiration behind that, and is that a result of customer feedback, or you just want to push the barrel out, or what happens with that?
Sorry, did you say fruit forward beers?
Yeah, you know, you've had some mangoes there, I think, and some grapefruits, and you know, what's the inspiration behind that, mate?
Fruit and hops for the most part go really well together, because a lot of the things that people like about more modern hops, American and New Zealand, Australian hops, are those fruit forward characters of those hops. And we like to play with those, like Mosaic and Citra and Nelson, like really fruity beers. But then they go really well with the actual fruit going in there. And it's about complementing and balancing those flavors. We've just started a new range of incredibly fruit-forward, crazy amount of fruit-forward sours. We've just done one called the Juicing Room, Willy Wonka styles, blueberry one, and then we've got one called All Day Breakfast, which is blueberry and maple sour, which is just a mind-bending beer because it's like, man, this is sour, it's blueberry, but it's sweet maple and all sorts of, like, the sky is the limit, and that's the reason I got into this. And, you know, I used to be a lawyer in a previous life, not a good one, but one nonetheless. And, you know, there was no creativity, and that's what I love most about my job is that, I mean, last year we did 52 brand new individual beers, probably like 60 different ones in total. And this year, maybe 1.5 times that amount at the rate we're going at the moment. And it's just flexing the creative muscle, ingredients, names, labels. Like, you know, I'm all about the quality of the beer first, but, you know, you've got to make our whole mission in Behemoth is to make beer fun. And I think, you know, we've definitely converted some people over just because they've got into, like, Shirley, our mascot, and like the fun that we can bring to the beer, but it's the fun and the flavor, and when we can bring that to the label as well, that's great. But it's all about the fun and the flavor of the beer is what's important to us.
Mate, and you do it so well. And what an exciting time for you, mate. You must be stressed to the max. And, you know, we're just finishing
the whole gambit of emotions are going through, mate.
Oh, buddy. You know, we're just about to open Panmure and Whangaparāoa before the end of June, which will mean we'll have our 5 branches in 5 years, 200 taps in 2020, which was our go-to. And it's, holy cow, man, it's taken its toll, you know.
It does, man.
Man, it's hard work. And, you know, one of the hardest questions was
2 years ago, that was like a jet black beard, right?
You know, it was. And just the question, you know, the same old question, when are you going to open? When are you going to open? It's just like, oh my God, we're just not going to tell anyone anymore about the
the story from back in the day, man, because we were talking well before you started your own run, the challenges you had in opening your first venue, which was crazy. I mean, you guys had to drink, you weren't allowed to sell beer, so you had to drink a lot of that stuff yourself, and, you know, you did the hard yards.
It's important to quality control the tap system, Andrew. So we were happy to do that for our customers who turn up en masse now. And so
I'm excited about Panmure, by the way, because Peach's Fried Chicken might be one of the best chicken places on the face of the earth, and pretty much you guys and that we're going to be the only good things in Panmure because there's not much else there at the moment.
Well, look, just like there was nothing in Northcote, we kind of feel the same way about Panmure. And
yeah,
and you know, it does take some time to build up a bit of a rep and for people to see that you know what you are. But yeah, Lawrence has been spending a lot of time out there, and you know, it's Peaches pretty much every day for lunch for Lawrence. And I'm just saying it's kind of starting to show a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, that is awesome. I'm excited in Whangaparāoa. I used to spend a bit in my previous life before I was married. I had a girlfriend out in Whangaparāoa, so I was out there quite a bit. And there's no good beer out there, so I mean, I'm looking forward to, you know, it's just all about bringing beer to the people and where the people are. And yeah, I'm really stoked to make sure, you know, that parts of Auckland are represented and have the opportunity to drink our beer. It's fantastic.
We're so excited about Whangaparāoa, and it was actually one of the first areas that we ever looked at after Northcote, and we were pretty much desperate to get in there. And it, you know, as you've experienced with your new site, it's so hard to find the right site. So that was our issue with Whangaparāoa. But you know, we're so happy. Ben and Tracy Kelsey and Craig and Claire Holt are the owners of that one, and that's our sort of test franchise, if you like. So it's a big deal for us, sort of, you know, kind of giving away our baby a little bit, if you know what I mean. And
it would have to be a weird experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's really strange, but we have a lot of faith in that team, and we're super excited. So, you know, that's sort of, yeah, definitely before the end of June, and woohoo!
Nice.
Now, but you know, enough about me. I know I'm super interesting and devastatingly handsome, but so this is it, man. You're putting yourself under a lot of pressure. The hospo side is going to be open by the end of June, you say, and
probably mid-July, but
yeah. Hey,
yeah.
man, you know, nothing's set in stone around that stuff. We know that for sure.
No, it's not.
And so I hope you're going to have a launch party of some nature.
There's definitely going to be launch parties. There's so many different parts to it. Like, we'll be having a softer things as we're getting up and running. Will be parties when the first beer's brewed and ready there, and it's going to be named after the first. I won't tell you what it is now because I'll leave that as a surprise, but it's going to be named after the first homebrew I ever did back in the day. So all sorts of really exciting stuff here. Yeah, there's a bunch of beers that we just didn't feel comfortable contract brewing. It's like, they're very hard. I mean, we have pushed the breweries we work with hard with some crazy stuff, but there's a certain amount of stuff we've been keeping up our sleeves to do ourselves. So it's that's very exciting for me.
That's so good, mate. Look, it's really good to see you, Andrew. And you know, considering the amount of pressure you must be under to get things done, you're looking pretty healthy, mate, which is always a great sign. And you know, it's all to do for you, bro. But you know, as long as we can get it, we'll buy you beer because it's bloody good and a great part of the New Zealand brewing story.
No, we love selling the beer spot.
We have to mention the COVID-19 thing, and that's been a little bit stressful for everyone. But I think maybe the timing couldn't have been better for you for this to sort of come on.
Well, in some ways, yeah. I mean, in terms of what's happened with COVID-19 for us, it was hard and stressful and difficult. We have good distribution in New Zealand, like we've good supermarket distribution and like this sort of stuff, but like even that, like they couldn't buy stuff for the first couple of weeks because everyone's buying bloody flour and toilet paper and jamming up the trucks and everything, and it was really, really stressful. And you know, we started doing online stuff and that's gone really well and it's very much saved our bacon. And it's, you know, experienced a new way for people to buy beer as well. We started the Saving the World with Couch Beers page, and that's just taken off like a rocket. And just like it's become like the new New Zealand craft beer page, which I'm really proud of. And it all came down from, there was other people who had started a page about doing stuff and creating arty projects. And I was like, well, I just want to do something where people just sit on the couch and have a beer. So that's what we did, and it's been kind of fun. And but yeah, in terms of working out for us, like, yeah, if we had opened just before this and then we'd had to have like do what you guys have had to do, like, and like I can only imagine how stressful that's been. But hopefully we're out of this like kind of level 1 things happening when we open up. That's kind of perfect scenario. We find some really good staff. We've already got a good manager. We've got a good general manager. We've got an awesome chef who landed from Portland, Oregon a week before all this lockdown stuff happened. So he's been doing heaps of menu testing and all that kind of stuff. It's been really cool. Yeah, and we're hoping that when we get open and people are just really happy to come out and drink some beer and socialize and try amazing food. We're all about beer and food. Like that's our jam. That's our life. You know, I married a chef and a butcher for a reason, I think, at the end of the day. And yeah, we're just hoping that like kind of the stars kind of align. But yeah, it could have been, yeah, I feel for a lot of my buddies in hospitality that it's been real rough on. So I think we're hopefully in a good position to be able to get up and running and the timing works out.
Mate, I can't wait for the invite. I'm so excited for you guys, and you know, sort of knowing a little bit about what it means to open these things and push forward, you know, on just our aspect of it. So, you know, the best of luck to you, buddy. Please say hello to Hannah for me, and I really appreciate your time and because I know you're so busy right now, bro. So I really do appreciate the time you've spent today, and hopefully this will be a bit of an introduction to more people. So let's do this stuff together and rock on, bro.
Absolutely, bro. I'll give you a buzz soon for a beer.
Nice. Thank you, mate.